You know the type. Wants it more than anyone in the room. Gets the thing. Feels nothing. Up before the alarm, still going at midnight. Talking about the thing at dinner until everybody's eyes glaze over. Intense, relentless, alive in a way that makes the rest of us look like we're idling. Then they get it. Watch their face at the exact second they get it. A flicker. 2 seconds. Flat. You know the type because you're it, and you can't say that out loud. Try it. Say, I got the thing I spent 4 years on and it tasted like nothing, and watch the room decide you're ungrateful. So you don't say it. You pick the next thing instead. Bigger this time. Obviously, the last one was just too small. The internet has an answer for you. Learn to love the hard thing. Rewire your brain to enjoy the grind. You can't. Not it's difficult. Can't. The machine that makes you go and get it and the machine that makes you enjoy it are two different machines. You have been flooring one of them since you were 19. The other one you have never once checked on. Start with the mouse because the mouse settles it. Scientists built a mouse whose brain makes no dopamine at all. Not low, not depleted, none. Here is what a mouse with no dopamine is supposed to be, according to everything you have ever been told. A mouse that feels nothing. Nothing tastes good. Nothing matters. Give it sugar water and plain water. It goes for the sugar. Every time. Fine. Maybe that's just a starving body grabbing calories. So they ran it again with saccharin. Sweet, 0 calories, nothing in it at all. It still went for the sweet one. It wasn't chasing fuel, it liked the taste. Pleasure, intact, not reduced, intact, and the mouse dies. It will starve to death in a cage with food in it unless they hand its brain the raw material to make dopamine. And the thing they measure, the thing that actually breaks, is how often it begins to lick. Not how much it enjoys the drop once it's on the tongue. Whether it starts, it still likes it. It just doesn't start. So flip that around. The mouse has all of the liking and none of the going. You have all of the going. Do you know? Have you ever checked? 80 people, a real campus gym, and researchers with a stopwatch. Before the workout, everyone rated why they were there. Useful, effective, keeps me in shape. 4.9 out of 7. Enjoyable, fun, 3.9. Not close. These people are here for the result, and they will tell you so, and they mean it. Then the researchers measured the actual minutes on the machine. Average, about 35. Wanting to be in shape predicted nothing about those minutes. Nothing. The only thing that predicted how long a person stayed on that treadmill was whether they were enjoying it. Predicted, not caused. That one is a correlation, and I'll hand you the causal version in about 30 seconds. But sit inside the shape of it first. The six-pack got them in the door. The six-pack did not keep them on the machine. Something else did. And they didn't know it, and if you'd asked them, they would have given you the wrong answer with total confidence. Here's the causal version. Send people into a gym. Tell one group to pick the exercise that's good for them. Tell the other to pick the one they'll enjoy. The enjoyment group does more sets, not more inspired. More sets. Importance runs the plan, enjoyment runs the behavior, and that split is measurable in the ugliest possible place. Ask people how long they'll stick with their New Year's resolution, and importance predicts their answer beautifully. Come back 2 months later and look at what they actually did. Importance is gone, and enjoyment is doing the work. Your ambition is an excellent forecaster of your intentions, and a terrible forecaster of you. So if enjoyment is what keeps a person going, and you are the person who has kept going for years without much of it, what exactly has been pushing you? Something that isn't pleasure, doesn't feel like pleasure, never promised any. Monkeys, juice, a trained lab task. I'm going to say that once so you know exactly how far this goes and exactly how far it doesn't. Electrodes on dopamine neurons and a rule everyone expected to find. Juice arrives, neurons fire. Reward in, signal out, wrong. They don't report the reward, they report the gap. Better than expected, a burst. Worse than expected, the firing drops below its own baseline. and exactly what you expected. The thing you worked for delivered precisely on schedule, exactly as promised. Nothing. No response at all, not a small one, none. And you can watch it move. While the monkey is still learning the task, about a quarter of these neurons fire when the juice hits its tongue. Once the monkey has the task down, 9%. The burst didn't shrink and it didn't leave. It walked backwards in time and landed on the cue. The light that means juice is coming. The brain stopped answering the reward and started answering the announcement of the reward. It's a shift across a population, not every cell flipping over. Monkeys, juice, a trained task. That is the finding, and that is all of the finding. Because nobody has ever put an electrode in a person at the exact moment they got the thing they'd been certain of for 3 months. So I'm not going to tell you that this is what happened to you. I'll hand you the two shapes and you can hold them up to the light yourself. A signal that goes completely silent for a perfectly predicted reward. And a person who has never felt one thing at a finish line they've been running at, on schedule for years. And now I'm going to break my own story. Because the tidy version of this video would be a lie, and the tidy version is exactly how you got lied to about dopamine in the first place. It would be very clean to say this. Dopamine is wanting. Dopamine is prediction error. Therefore, the signal walking backwards onto the cue is how a hard thing becomes wanted. One chain. Beautiful, wrong. The two scientists behind those two halves have spent their careers arguing against each other. The man who proved wanting isn't liking has written papers specifically against the prediction error account. These are not two chapters of one story, they are rivals. And then a third result made it worse for everyone. Record the dopamine cells firing and the dopamine actually landing at the same time in the same animal. They come apart. The firing tracks prediction error. The landing ramps up with expectation. Two signals. Same chemical. Not the same thing. So here's what I can actually hand you. It's less tidy and it's more true. 3 facts that point the same direction and refuse to become one mechanism. Wanting and liking are separable. The reward signal moves onto the cue as you learn. In monkeys, with juice. And effort itself picks up value. Anyone who welds those 3 into one elegant chain is selling you the same product that sold you the dopamine detox. Which is a good time to deal with the detox. The pitch, your dopamine is drained, you overloaded it on your phone, take a weekend off, reset it, come back clean, and able to enjoy small things again. Here's the timescale of a real one. People with genuine, measurable damage to the dopamine system. Heavy methamphetamine users, scanned, then scanned again after a long stretch of abstinence. It recovered. It took 14 months, and the longer they'd been off it, the more of it came back. That is methamphetamine, and it's one specific marker, and it is not your phone and not your Tuesday evening. I'm not comparing your Instagram to a meth habit. I'm giving you the scale. Real recovery in a real damaged dopamine system is measured in years, so a weekend without your phone is not a reset. It's a weekend, and the phone claim underneath it is thinner than the genre would like. The one human study anyone can point at is 22 people. It's a correlation. And its own authors say the arrow may run backwards. That the dopamine difference might be what pulls a person toward the apps rather than the apps doing something to the person. 22 people and maybe pointing the wrong way. That is the entire evidence base of a genre with millions of views. And the foundation under all of it is softer than advertised. Even in addiction, where dopamine built its whole reputation, stimulants raise it. Alcohol, some evidence. Cannabis and opiates? Little evidence they raise it at all. Those are addictive. The theory everybody quotes as settled is, inside the field, a 40-year argument. And then the best part. The psychologist who coined the phrase dopamine fasting says the name is wrong. His actual protocol was stimulus control. Put the thing out of reach so you don't have to out-willpower it at 11 p.m. That is not neurochemistry, that's furniture. We did a whole video on furniture. Moving the thing further away works. It's one of the few things that reliably does. Somebody put a lab coat on, put your phone in the other room, and it went viral? And now there are people fasting from a molecule they cannot fast from and would die without. Furniture works, but it doesn't answer the question you came here with. If you can't learn to love the hard thing, how does a hard thing ever become something you go and do? Watch a rat, a bowl of free food, and a lever that delivers the exact same food except you have to work the lever. The rat works the lever. You've seen this cage before. In the video about laziness, same lever, same free bowl. Last time we took the rat's dopamine down and it quit the lever and ate the free chow. Nothing has been done to this rat, and it works the lever anyway. It depends on how much work you ask for, so don't overdraw it. But it's not just rats, mice, birds, fish, monkeys, chimps. Given the choice between free and earned, most animals we've tested will pay for it. Famously, except cats. One study. 17 of them, 10 sessions each. They put a puzzle feeder next to a free tray, and the cats ate from the tray. Dogs, roughly the same. So it isn't a law of life. It's a wide pattern with a smug exception. In people, it has a name and a piece of flat-pack furniture attached to it. Build it yourself, and you'll value it more. This isn't a cute anecdote. Pooled across 55 studies and 5,500 people, it's a real, moderate, robust effect. People who folded their own lopsided origami priced it about where they'd price in experts and assumed everyone else saw what they saw. But the interesting part is where it stops. Make them build it and then break it. Or stop them before they finish. The effect vanishes, not shrinks. Gone. And that is the unfinished thing in the corner of your room. The half-built one. The one you walk past every day and read as evidence about your character. It gives you nothing. No value, no pull, no warmth. And not because you're lazy. Unfinished effort doesn't get paid. And effort that doesn't get paid never becomes something you want. Which is the actual answer to the question in the title. And it's almost mechanical. The leading account holds this. When effort reliably pays off, the sensation of effort itself picks up reward value. The strain stops being only a cost. It becomes the thing that predicts the payoff, and it gets less aversive, and it generalizes. Train someone on hard work in one place, and they work harder somewhere unrelated. Now notice what that does not say. It does not say the strain becomes pleasant. Nothing in any of this says the cue starts to feel good. That is the exact door the pleasure story keeps trying to sneak back in through. And it's how you got sold the last 4 things that didn't work. It says the strain stops costing what it cost. Those are different sentences. That difference is the whole video. You never learn to love the hard thing. You learn that the hard thing pays, and then you start. So you cannot love it, but you can make it pay. And you're allowed to know how. The beginner with the guitar. 6 weeks in, and it's on a stand in the corner now. 1 string flat. He didn't quit because he lacked discipline. He quit because he spent 6 weeks listening to himself sound terrible and reading it as a verdict. Sounds terrible means I'm not a guitar person, but sounding terrible is the only sound available on the way. The strain never got a chance to predict a payoff, not because the payoff never showed up, and the strain never stopped meaning failure. Now the move that flips it, and it's the opposite of what you'd guess. 2,000 people, pre-registered, meaning they published the prediction before running it, which is rarer than it should be. Improv classes. Awkward, exposed, physically uncomfortable. One group gets the normal encouragement. Push through it, it gets easier. The other group gets a strange instruction. Go find the discomfort. Feeling awkward isn't the toll you pay for the progress. It is the progress. When you cringe, that's the readout. The group told to seek it engaged more and got further. And why it works is the elegant part. Growth is invisible and slow. Discomfort is immediate and impossible to miss. So you take a payoff you cannot see, and swap in a signal you cannot ignore. You make the thing pay now, in the only currency your machinery reads in real time. And its boundary is the honest part. It only worked in places where the growth itself causes immediate discomfort. If the thing isn't uncomfortable, there's nothing there to reframe. This is not a life hack. It's a tool with a shape. It's the same move as the treadmill, though, and notice what it never once is. It is never want it more. You have wanting to spare. So why did nobody notice? Why did you get this far? 5 years in, 10, into the exact thing you wanted, without ever once checking? Because wanting is loud and liking is quiet. Wanting announces itself. It wakes you at 4 in the morning. It's the thing you're still talking about at dinner while everybody's eyes glaze over. And it's legible. You can put it in a plan, on a calendar, into a sentence that makes you sound serious. Liking has no voice at all. It only exists while it's happening. It never argues. It has never once made a demand of you. You can't remember it accurately and you can't forecast it. That's the treadmill. 80 people rated the useful thing above the fun thing, and then their own feet did the opposite, and not one of them noticed. So, you built an entire life out of the loud one. Of course you did. It's the only one that talks. And everybody applauded because from the outside, the loud one looks like a virtue. We call it drive. We call it hunger. It is the single most flattering thing a person can be. Nobody has ever been praised for knowing what they like. Wanting was never a promise. It's a machine that points. It never said the thing at the end of the finger would be good. It can't. It doesn't have access to that. It isn't built to know. So the finish line goes quiet and you read the silence as a verdict on yourself. Ungrateful, broken, still not enough. It isn't a verdict, it's a specification. Silence at a perfectly predicted finish line is what the machinery does. The silence is the design. And the question you've never asked isn't how to want it more. You're already unbeatable at that. It's the question nobody asks a person like you, because your wanting is so loud that everyone assumes it's an answer. What do you actually like? You've been chasing so long. Do you know? Have you ever checked? Not what's worth it. Not what's impressive. What today is bearable. Or better than bearable. That answer is quiet. It won't fight for your attention. It won't wake you at 4 in the morning. Nobody is going to applaud it. You'll have to go and find it on purpose. It's the only thing you've never gone and got.